Good morning, Tarot Sphere. Am I a glutton for punishment? Oh, I don't know. So last night I made a decision to take down my previous video for the Goliath Tarot. Not because I don't stand behind some of the points in my video, but because the craziness was starting to boil over in the comment section. So I decided that I would try to have another go at Goliath, not in a negative way or a bad way, but I'm not gonna not tell the truth about some of the points in this deck. So anywho, hi Bow City, how are you? So we're gonna try again. I'm gonna try and be more fair and balanced with a more even keel voice and probably not joke around as much as I usually do. I might joke around a little bit. But we're gonna take another look at Goliath. I'm planning on talking about some of the production points of the deck, which I think are fair to talk about. And then we're also going to talk about the major arcana and the major arcana part of the guidebook. So anyway, I know there are people that love this deck to pieces. It's, you know, we're not going to see eye to eye. All I ask is that, you know, be nice to each other in the comments. Worst case scenario, I will try and appoint a babysitter. I will, no, I'm just kidding. But a moderator if we need one. So I'll appoint a moderator if we happen to need one. So let's go ahead. Hi, Christine and Celeste, how are you? Let's go ahead and jump in. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna try to do it right. All right, so here we go. This is the Goliath Tarot. I did an unboxing. I took it down so you guys don't get to see the wrapping paper that came on it. It was wrapped in black tissue and it had, do I still have this string? I actually, you know what I do? I save stuff like this because I usually give it to the birds. It's fun foraging material. It had this cute little ribbon on it and a little sticker. The sticker was nothing to write home about, so I wound up throwing it away. It just said Goliath Tarot, and it had a bit of a marbled background. So not one that I would collect. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on what's going on. I think what was it? There was a Kickstarter Major Arcana by Odd Mix Market that I kept that one. Anyway. That was a good sticker actually. And then sometimes I've done decks where the sticker is like a feather or something. I'll keep that. So anyway, this is the box that the deck comes in. I'm actually gonna grab my second copy because I've separated out some cards. So sometimes you guys, this was something that was brought up in the comment section in the previous video, was wondering why I ordered 2 copies of decks. I collect tarot decks. So I'll have one for use, and then I have so the really like some of my really like precious decks, like some Il Meneghellos and handmade boxes and stuff, those are just for collecting. Those are for my personal use. They're to have just to have because they're nice. I don't usually do things like, I don't do jewelry. I don't do I do a little bit of makeup, but not a lot. I collect crystals and tarot decks. That's my big collectee. So in this case, I was thinking there's going to be somebody out there who didn't, like in the States, who decided that they didn't want to do the deck because the shipping drives the price up. Hi, Stella. How are you? So I got a second copy because I figured either I'm going to really like this deck, and I know it's large format, and usually with large format decks, they tend to wear out. I'm going to want one for collecting purposes to keep nice and whatnot, or if I only kind of like it, or if I don't like it, I can trade a deck for something that I decided that I didn't want, but maybe now I want now. Is that a print? Like there's reasons to have 2 decks. So that's not strange. If it's strange, let me know. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I just buy 2 decks. I'm not the only one to have done it. Conjurer's Table bought 2. So can't be that weird. Oh my God, that is so good. I got a new box of K-Cups, and for whatever reason, they're just rocking my feeble girl world right now. Hi, Leslie. How are you? So when you open the box, the artwork on the box is amazing, by the way, you guys. The presentation is fantastic. I am going to touch a little bit on the way the decks are shipped. When they do come shipped, they are wrapped in a bit of bubble wrap, and then they are mailed in a plastic sheet mailer. And unfortunately, when you ship stuff international like that, it gets damaged in that kind of situation. So for the amount of money that this deck cost, it's $85 AU, which works out to be 60 some odd American, and then it's 20 some odd dollars AU to ship, which I think it was more than that to ship. I think I spent a little over $80 altogether on a single deck. So if you're buying this deck, chances are you're willing to spend a little bit more to have it come in a shipping box. I really, really think it's like one of the things that I mention a lot. I think yeah, Stella, it was a little expensive. But it's one of the things that I think that international shippers should really pay attention to is, asking or having the option for their customers to pay for a more expensive but more secure shipping option. So as you can see, this box, the hinges came ripped on both sides of the back and on one side of the front. I don't know if you can see that, it's a little crunched in the corner. Nothing that really takes away from it. And there's a ding on the front right there too. There's a little bit of a ding. And then on this one, for the most part, came okay, except for that corner. I don't know. Yeah, let's see if we can get it to focus. This corner is 100% crunched. Did I pay customs? Did somebody pay customs? Stella? No, I didn't pay customs charges, Bow City. The States doesn't really, I've never been whacked with customs in the United States. And considering the amount of international purchasing that I do between tarot and the shop, I am very lucky to have never been, I have never been whacked with customs charges. So yes, that is what happened with the box. So anywho, I would like to see the option, but anyway, here is the box. It's a magnetic flap open box. Production value on this box is fantastic. It's covered, every inch is covered in something, images of cards, information, and a barcode. Clearly he's looking to get this deck into some retail shops, which is fantastic. And then you have one of the cards is, this is from one of the bonus cards. Actually, this is from a bonus card too. One of the bonus cards is a whale eye and a baby whale. So that's from that. And then you've got some hippos. I don't recall seeing hippos in the deck though. So I was a little sad to not see that, like to have these fantastic hippos in the lid of the deck and to not see a hippo card, but maybe I'm just not remembering it. But anyway, it says a touch of magic, a touch of shadow, a twinkle of beauty, a spark in tarot, a feeling of mystery, a feeling of ponder, shuffle the cards and take a wander. So you do get a cute little bit of prose right there. And then the title of the deck, and it's adorable. And then the purple accent ribbons are really nice. It's a wonderful, considering there's not a lot of color to this deck and box. You get like a photo image of gold gilding. It looks like gold in marble. And then let's see. And then the book is sitting on top. I actually have a copy of the book. So this is the guidebook, you guys. One of the criticisms that I did have was a little bit about the guidebook as far as the production value of the guidebook. Normally when you receive a book, you expect it to be a left-bound book that opens this way, but it is not. It is a vertically bound book. I'm sorry, it's a horizontally top-bound book. And I'm learning a little bit about bookbinding. Hint, hint for the thing that I got coming up. And then it is It is top bound. So the thing that makes this a little bit disappointing is that in order to and not that it's disappointing, it just is harder to work with. So the thing about this book originally, I don't know if you guys can see this, it was meant to be a vertically left bound book. These pages are numbered. This one is, so this is 1, this is page number 2, this is page number 3, and this is page number 4. And in order to fit it, hi Crystal Mama, how are you? And in order to fit it into a guidebook this thin, he decided to go this route. And he's made the text very small. There have been a few reviews. I know that Kelly from Truth and Story had to stop her video while she was filming it to go grab her glasses. Small print is okay. When you get, it's really small though. And then when you get to the minors, sometimes depending on the length of the explanation, it gets even smaller. So this book would have been better served to have been a larger print, be sold outside of the box, or maybe have an edited down guide in the book and then sold this as a larger format add-on, kind of like the Spirit Keeper Tarot, where you could get it from Lulu Printing, from Ben Belwen, because that's a meaty book. Oh my god, I started reading that last night, you guys. Oh my goodness, I'm in for it. So as far as that's concerned, production value with this book, that's a real, that would have been a game changer, having either the little insert or having this just be bigger print. And then the other thing that would have been amazing, so here are the cards. I'm gonna put those right there. Inside the box, there's a plastic insert to nest the cards. And then there's this extra little well space. Had the plastic insert been made cardboard, or if they had done away with this well space and just shortened the insert, you could have fit a bigger book in the box. And that would have just made a world of difference as far as I'm concerned. Maybe the printer has a cap on the amount of pages you're allowed to do for a book for the box, or there was some sort of snaggeroo that wound up doing that. I would love to hear, excuse me, frog in my throat. I would love to hear more from the creator about why the book was opted to be printed the way it was. But yeah, so I'm going to wind up probably, somebody on Nobody Here's video suggested taking this out and doing bags inside the box. I'll probably make a couple of bags. Oh yeah, it looks like, and on the bottom of this box was like a little, you can see it's a little, it's a little concave. The shipping just wasn't very kind to this. I'm glad that you liked the original honest review, Stella. I'm trying to give it another shot so that way people can not be as wigged out by it as the original one, and then also still know some of the nitty-gritty about the deck. And I'll try to be a little more fair to the artist in this one. Yeah, it's a shadow working deck. Let's work on our shadow, right? I'm nothing if not fair. So anywho, these are the cards. They are a very physically large card. I've been having a really hard time holding them. I'm a little nervous about saying this part because this is apparently the thing that a lot of people fixated on, and apparently I fixated on it too. So very physically large card. The deck is difficult to hold. The type of cards in the Gilding actually do make it painful for me to hold it this way. They kind of cut into the meat of my hand. And then I was just like, why didn't I know the cards were this big? So I knew the cards were large from the Instagram photos. And I knew the cards were large from, like, you can just tell by the way that the box is set up and that the cards are going to be huge. I didn't remember reading anything about the size of the cards anywhere when I ordered it. So I went spelunking on his website. On the intro page and on the product page, there's no mention about the cards being oversized. You have to go to his frequently asked questions page, which honestly I normally skip. Because that's usually when you go to frequently asked questions, most of the time that page is just about things like, when are you going to ship it? Like, when did you, like, you know, it's what's the shipping? How's it packaged? Yada, yada. Like, it's just kind of like regular doing business stuff. Like, how do I get a refund? What about returns? Like that kind of thing. The size of his deck is mentioned, like 2 or 3 questions down. It just says that it's an oversized deck. It's physically larger than other decks. And then you have to go to almost the bottom question to get dimensions for the cards. Let me see if I can't even like find it. I'm actually on his website right now looking for it. So, yeah. And then there's apparently this frequently asked questions has grown since the last time I took a look at it. So apparently he's responding to some of the criticism of the deck, or some of the reviews of the deck, I should say, by adding questions to his frequently asked questions. Yeah, with real opinions on decks. Well, thank you very much for that. I like that. Oh my God, you can, yeah, Beaker's giggling. He can see out the window in his cage, so he likes to tell the birds what's up. He's such a good boy. I love that bird so much. I promise I'll have a video with Beaker on soon. This is too expensive a deck to have that beak anywhere around it. Plus, I dragged out one of my favorite decks on the whole entire planet for this review, and I don't want him crunching that either. So anyway, yeah, the big cards they do make it physically hard to hold. And then I spent the better part of last night preparing for this review. Part of it was trying to shuffle the deck to be like, well, how can I shuffle this? How can I make this comfortable? Like, why is this? I have I thought I had a deck that was actually bigger than this, and it turns out it's just smaller. So, well, it's just longer. So the other deck that I'm going to compare it to, and this was previously my largest deck. And if you don't have this deck, you should get it. It's wonderful and it's not expensive. It's like $30 some odd. It comes with a great book. This is a great deck for like pulling out one card. She packs a lot of meat. I should really do a review for this deck. Oh my goodness. Is the Nature Spirit Tarot. I'm probably going to wind up buying a second copy just in case it ever goes out of print. I need 2 copies. This is the size of the card. So let me see. I have a Dreamkeeper's Tarot, which is, you know what? It's not Dreamkeeper's. No, I have Dreamkeeper's right here. So this is Dreamkeeper's Tarot. I did a review on this yesterday. This is your standard tarot size. This is the Nature Spirit Tarot. Is much bigger. It's almost twice as large. Yeah, the Nature Spirit Tarot is a wonderful, wonderful deck. So it is a very large format card. The cardstock is thinner and it lends itself to like an easy sideways shuffle. And then I was like, I can handle this deck okay. Like, what is my problem with the Goliath? Like, why is this so difficult for me to hold? The Goliath is wider, it's not wider by much, but it's wider by just enough for this to be, for it to be hard to handle. Oh my goodness, Beaker. So the Goliath is slightly wider than the Nature Spirit. I think it's like a 8, no, yeah, like a little over like 2/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. No, I would say 1/8 of an inch. It's 1/8 of an inch wider. But it's wider just enough to make it difficult to hold. So the Goliath has now officially taken the Nature Spirit Tarot's place as, I'm going to claim it my largest deck because it's the hardest for me to handle. And I have big hands. So those of you who don't have large hands, just be aware that you're going to have difficulty holding the deck. That's all. That's all I wanted people to know. Anywho. So there is my comment on size of deck. Then the gilding is a really smart move for this deck. I know some people hate gilding, some people love gilding, some people, like they you either love it or you hate it. Sometimes people have mixed feels about it. I'm one of those with mixed feels. It depends on the deck. It depends on the gilding. It's a shiny gilding. I don't normally go for shiny gilding. This is nicely done. This isn't, you don't get any of the glitter that you get from normal gilding, from the cheaper gilding. There's no nicks in it or anything like that. So it came out of the box pristine. So the plastic insert was at least doing its job for protecting the cards. And it's smart because the deck has mixed color borders, which is not a critique. That's a fact. It's got mixed color borders, and that's fine. I don't mind a mixed color border. What I do mind is, do I have the Science Tarot handy? Because that's a good example of a mixed color border deck. Let me just take a quick gander, you guys. Oh my God, I know I have it somewhere, and I can't believe it's not like right where I need it when I need to reach it. Is it over here? Anywho, all right, I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking for it, but on decks that aren't gilded, that have different color borders, you can spot them from the side, which when you have enough tarot and you collect tarot enough and you've been reading tarot for a while, tends to lead to you choosing a card. I think it takes a piece of the subconscious part out of it. Like a little bit of the mystery. It takes mystery out of it, and it makes you, to a point, consciously choose the card that you want. Like if you want to read about money, you're going to go for the ones with the green earth borders, or if you know that a certain card has I have a deck, it's called the Universal Mind Oracle. One of the cards, hi Veronica Jude, how are you? One of the card borders is black. The rest of them are very light gray. Well, I think mine are a tan. She changed them to light gray. And you have to, you can spot that one card from the side, and it's crazy. So the gilding was a wonderful production move. It's smart. It looks nice. I would have liked to have seen it silver. A note on the cards, this glossy UV varnish, he touches on why he does the UV varnish. Why is this? What forms can I? Where did he go? Sorry, I moved this all around. I had that up. Why doesn't the deck have a matte laminate surface? Because it was the artist's preference not to. Okay. And during the printing process, we could not add the gold gilding to the sides of cards if there was a matte surface finish. I'm going to challenge that a little. Oh, hold on. Where did you guys go? Oh no, my computer's being weird. Okay, I'm going to challenge that a little with the Star Child Akashic. Yeah, this is a wonderful deck. It's got, I know it's the artist's preference to have them glossy, but you absolutely can have gilded sides. It's a matte gilding. You don't often see a shiny gilding on matte cards. But I like matte gilding a little bit better. It's easier on your hand. It's physically more comfortable to handle. The metallic gilding tends to be a little sharp. And that's just my preference. It's okay for the artist to have their preference, and it's okay for me to have my preference. So anyway, so you can have gilding on matte cardstock. And I think for the way that the cards are, for their physical size, having the glossy makes them, you guys, it's so silly when I go to shuffle this deck. It's seriously like one of those, do you not know how to carry everything? Buy the product a doodabber because it's going to make your life easier. You know, those as seen on TV commercials, or like the guy's trying to wash his car and he's got 48 things and the hose is spraying. It's like that. I try to shuffle it, and it's a game of 90 some odd pickup with this deck. It's crazy. But anyway, so that is Prisma Visions and Light Visions. No, they're not matte. So Prisma and Light Visions are a glossy deck. They're just smaller. When which makes them easier to handle. So that's all. I would have liked to have seen this deck done in a smaller format just to make it something I could use, just make it a little more user-friendly. That's all. All right, so we're going to touch on, oh my God, I just dropped a deck of cards. Looks like I'm playing 78 pickup anyway today. Okay, so I'm just trying to put this all back together so that way I don't lose any pieces of it. That's what I get when I have two decks open. We're going to touch a little bit on the guidebook right now. And then we'll get into the art style of some of the cards. So I thought to myself, I don't know if I gave the artist a fair shake when I said that the ego voice was really strong in this deck. And then I said, well, let's see. Like, I'm like, oh my God, he talks about himself so much in this book, and he calls it a tarot manifesto. Reading manifestos, it's very much like reading a diary. I don't know that a personal diary style book should be a guidebook. Have it a separate section, but as far as connecting with the cards is concerned, you need to make room for the voice of the reader in a tarot deck. It's retail 101, really. Like, when you want somebody to make something feel like it's theirs and to connect with it and to be very personal, you put this is, just so you know, when people do this to you at the store, you'll be able to tell now when you're at the store and the salesman, like, this is corporate retail 101, you guys. You take the product, like, be it a sweater, be it a pair of shoes, and you call it theirs. You say, oh my goodness, doesn't that sweater look so good on you? You're going to love your new sweater. You're going to look so good in your new sweater. It's going to go so great with your jeans. Your new sweater is going to be fantastic. Your new sweater is going to keep you so warm. You want them to form an emotional connection to it, so that way they love it and buy it. And so you love how big the cards are, the plants and flowers. Oh, on the Nature Spirit Tarot. Yeah, it's a fantastic deck, you guys. It's not one, like, you go in knowing that the cards are ginormous, which is really nice. But they're not unwieldy. You can shuffle them pretty easily. That extra quarter of an inch, like, I don't know why that extra quarter of an inch is making it really, but you use like one card at a time. There's so much symbolism. That is a really awesome shamanic deck. If you're looking for one, it is fantastic. And the guidebook is just so packed full of information. But anyway, back to Goliath. So I said, maybe I'm not giving him a fair shake as far as, being like, okay, he mentions himself a lot in the guidebook, and I thought it can't possibly be that many times. I need a visual representation, right? So I bookmarked every page in this deck in this book where he mentions himself. And I was shocked, not every time, just every page. And it's every page in the major arcana. Oh, the little yellow stickies I'm still working on. That's where he calls it his deck. Instead of the deck or your deck. So, I mean, this is, and then there's a section on his frequently asked questions where he addresses this. He said, the majors is really bad. And it's not every time he mentions himself. And it's like, I did, and I painted, and I created. I really feel that part of it, I don't begrudge any artist their right to brag about bringing a tarot deck into the world. It's such a scope of a project. That's creating tons of art and writing a book, and it's truly an accomplishment. I'm not taking that away from Goliath. He really did a fantastic job where the images are concerned, and where the art's concerned, and like getting this project up and off the ground is fine. But this is some constructive criticism. This could really lead to people not being able to connect to the deck. You would do better from a psychological standpoint to reference this deck as the deck or your deck instead of my deck. It just comes across as a little possessive to me, and it makes it really hard to form a connection with the deck. And he addresses that in his frequently asked questions. Thankfully, the minors don't suffer from that so much. These dark purple ones are the minor section, the minor cards. Each minor card doesn't get a very big write-up though. So yeah, this is every time. That's just, I just think it's just, it's a little much. That's all. And there is a way to write about your creative journey and some of your thoughts and feelings so that you're not interjecting. I took not a class on it, but I took like a little mini workshop about, yes, he needs an editor. I agree. There's a way to write and get your thoughts and your feelings and aspects of your creative journey across without saying the word I so much. And it's something that I need to work on. I have a hard time with it as a writer, just because we all live in our own skins. We all have our own experiences. We all do, that's really kind of the only lens that we have to put stuff out there is like, oh, well, I experienced and I this and I that, and I think and I feel. Those statements the I thinks and I feels, you don't need to say so much. Just by virtue of putting it to paper or putting it out there, it's already very obvious that you think and feel it. And that was some advice that a really good English teacher gave me. And then I took a little mini workshop on how to take that voice out so that way other people can make connections to your work, because that's what's most important in tarot, I think, is, see, I just did it. That's what's most important in tarot, is being able to get other people to have a connection to your artwork so they can feel the same thing that you did as you were creating. It's just, I think that's probably why I got so worked up about it. I was looking so forward to making a connection with this deck, and this is just, it's like when somebody just pulls down that iron gate when they're nope, mall closed. So that is part of that. As far as the deck is concerned, I've had some time to really kind of sit with it and look at some of the artwork. We'll go through the majors in a little bit, but I did separate the deck out into a couple of piles. The artwork style does jump around a little bit. So I've got two different piles. One is what I call naturalist paintings, or naturalist art, where it features natural world images only, like animals, plants, could come right out, not right out of an Autobahn, but there's no human influence in it. I did make a little bit of leeway for things like the actual suits. Like if there's some cups on a cup card, there's not much you can do. Like it is what it is. Oh, bye, Stella. So, there's going to be a few cups and swords in here, but for the most part, these are all images of natural world art. It's just, it's animals, plants, get you right into nature, which is what this deck had been focusing on being. It was billed as a natural world tarot, or a natural world based tarot. No people. So I was really looking forward to that. This is one of the decks that this is the deck that I have mixed up. I have another one all separated out by suit. It's in order. So these images are beautiful. I'm not doing a huge flip through. So I'm just kind of trying to get you to get a feel for it. If you want to do, if you want to see an in-depth flip through, Kelly from Truth and Story has 2 hours on this deck. I don't want to do 2 hours. So, and she does a much better, she's a much nicer overhead setup. I just don't have the right camera or space to do something like that. And quite honestly, I don't have time. So if you want to see a flip through, I will go ahead and put links in the deck. This one, I didn't know where to put this one because it's got this weird banner, and I wanted it to be in the next pile I'm about to show you. But it was more natural than anything. But it does, like, it's a very different style from some of the images. It just, that one just stands out to me. Yeah, so this is all natural world images. And then the next pile is anthropomorphized, or I'm going to call it fantasy pop art. So there's some aspect of human something or other in here. Like this was one that I didn't know. This card. So this card is what I would believe to be an ideal for this deck. It is a little bit of human influence. It is a wonderful naturalist drawing. It kind of gets the the idea of the Fool right across. There's a little bit of a little bit of human anthropomorphization with the adding of a ribbon or a sash, but nothing too much. You still get very natural world feel. And then you get I'm going to call it. So this is a mix. It's you see this in the courts mostly, but humanized fantasy, poppy art. This reminds me of a Zentangle. It's not horrible, but little sci-fi pop horror, huge aspects of human stuff in there, as opposed to more of the natural world angle. This is a completely different. These are crystals on his head. This one I didn't really know what to do with because it does have the yin yang, so that could have gone in either pile. Oh, there are my hippos. I thought I saw hippos. I couldn't remember them though. The mouth opening would have been very powerful. But these guys have nose rings. There's one card in here that really stands out, I think, for me about, yes, a lot of these like animals are decorated. This is a huge one. This is very, this looks like it was very influenced by the wooden tarot. This image anyway. This one is, this is a human thing. Hi, Brenda. How are you? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you. I haven't been poking around online a lot lately. The horse has braids in its hair. And then this card, there's one card in particular. I'm going to pull it out so that way we're not flipping through. Oh, this one I pulled for the Empress card. The Empress card is a difficult one for me because of the way it's written up in the book. And also you can't see the eggshell inside the peacock. So this makes it a very fantasy. This makes it a very fantasy type deck for me. The peahen would lay eggs. And then I didn't even catch it. So shout out to nobody here. It's a peahen by virtue of being pregnant and by the feminine symbol there. But it's got male feathering. As a person who loves birds, I'm really ashamed that I didn't pick up on that. But yeah, there's some weirdness going on with this one. It's still a very beautiful, powerful image, but I'm not classifying that as a natural world type thing. This is one of the ones that stood out to me. This is the High Priestess card. Very different from the rest. Very different from the rest of the yeah, very, very different from the rest of the, the peahen is a skeleton, but it's also not a skeleton. Like the eye is there, but you can see it's got male feathering. This is male. Peahens don't have the big tail. They don't have the ass eyes. That's what I call, that's what I call their feathers, ass eyes. They don't have the big tail. They also don't have this crest. It's a male only thing. Peahens are actually they're not dull colored, but they are definitely not as ostentatious as male peacocks. So this is the High Priestess card, and this is one of the most this one just definitely travels furthest from the rest of the deck for me as far as art style. The rest of it is a little bit, this one isn't too bad, because you get a more natural looking animal there, but some of them are just out there. So to me, and again, this is all opinion, all subjective opinion. To me, this deck doesn't really speak with a cohesive voice because of the difference. Like this card is just, this remains, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm ever going to run into a sun card that I really love. And the trend continues with this deck. They're all weird for me. I don't know why. The only one that I've really run across that I love is in the Wild Unknown, but it's just a Sunburst. To me, it kind of looks like he had an idea and was going in one direction, and then he had another idea and was going in a different direction. I'm glad, like, usually it seems to me that the way that he painted you, or the way that he painted this deck, is like the way that the images came to him as they came to him, which is great. It's definitely kind of, you know, the universe peeled back exactly what it needed to peel for him for creating this deck. This is definitely a deck for his own use. I think before you put images out in the public, and actually a really good example of this would be the very controversial, is it Greenwood Tarot that's being re-released? Mark, I think is his name. Cheska did all the art. You know, they're thinking about re-releasing it. He was talking the other day about how, as they were going through the creative process, they had an editor who said, you know, yes to this image, no to this needs to be reworked. This one is another one that really stands out to me. This is very, this gives me like a very Mad Max kind of vibe. I want Tina Turner to be like peeking around the back of that stump. You know, I'm not saying that the images aren't beautiful, and they're not and I'm not saying they're not powerful. They really are great. I can't reiterate that enough. I do really love and appreciate the hard work. I could never create art like this. I'm not saying that, you know, this is crap, I'm going to do my own deck. But there is a certain cohesiveness. The tarot, oh my God. Can I just be one of those people that say that I did not appreciate the newest Mad Max that came out? Yeah, Veronica, Jude, that is fair to say. So Veronica just said this deck attracts and repels in equal parts. Yeah, and Grunul, which I believe it means green owl, right? She says that she stands by art 10, but tarot 3 is what she rated it on the last deck. And then we have these cards, which just stand apart from, I didn't even know what to do with them. I didn't know what pile to put them in because they didn't even really, I think, qualify for either one. This card has been called the wild card. It's very Rorschach in its appearance, and he's like, it just means what you want it to mean in the guidebook. Not my favorite card. And it's the only card that uses this reflective Rorschach ink blot test. Yeah, it's the only card that really uses that kind of style. And then the Sacred Heart, the Heart of Goliath. He uses this as a thank you card. He's like, it's the biggest energetic hug from me to you, and thank you for supporting my artwork, and yada yada. This would have been better as a thank you card in addition to the deck, like it, you know, like a thank you very much, blah blah blah. It's not really meant to be in the deck though. And then the aces also stood out to me, because the style of the aces feels, again, just very different from the rest of the deck. Like the aces all belong together, but when you compare them to the rest of the art style of the rest of the deck, they just don't feel like they belong in it. Again, my opinion, other people feel differently. And it's not that they're not powerful. I really like how he mixes. What I do like is how he mixes up some of the, I do like the aces. Like if he did a deck in just this style, I would totally buy it. I do like how he mixes up the type of animal with the suit. Like the these are bird feet with a water suit. So air and water. And again, you get air and earth. You get water and fire with the octopus tentacle. And then you get earth and air with the snake. I always associate snakes with earth, either earth or fire, depending on what you like. You know, you can go with the venom aspect, or you can go with like they're literally grounded. Like they got no legs connected to that earth man. So anywho, that is just my feel on the aces. Again, these are just the way I feel about the deck. You're going to feel differently about the cards. That's fine. We're here for a discussion. And then these are the yes and no cards that he includes in the deck. There's been mixed feels about them. So the one thing I will say, I'm going to go right off the bat, because in my other deck, I was as stupid. This little nick right here is not a nick. It is part of the card image. It looks like there's flecks or dust or something on there. That's not a blemish on the card. It's meant to be there. It's on both cards. I tried to pick at it like a dum-dum instead of just being like, let me see if it's the same in both decks. I was like, oh, what is that? And it turns out that's part of the image. Don't pick at your card. PSA to all you fun folks so you don't ruin your deck. These are meant for pendulum divination. Oh, bye, Bow City. Have a good day. So these are meant for pendulum divination. He suggests using them face up. I think using them face down. Oh my goodness, Brimstone. Very nice. We're just going to go ahead and report and remove. Sexually explicit. And remove. All right, I think it removed him. I hope that removed him for you guys. I recommend doing face down as far as the pendulum is concerned. It didn't remove it. It removed it on my end. I am so sorry, you guys. I hope that doesn't ruin this for you. Damn it, internet. Why? I'm trying to do the right thing. Anyway. So if you put this, oh my goodness, if you put the cards face down, it takes a little bit of the conscious choosing or influencing of your pendulum out of the picture. Put them face down, mix them up a little bit, do what you got to forget which one is which one. And then, oh my God, okay, there you are. And then we're going to, put this user in timeout. There we go. I hope that worked for 300 seconds. And then how do I report him? Sexually explicit material, report. Okay. And then how do I block that guy? I don't know how to block him. He's only been put in timeout for 300 seconds. He might be back. I'm not sure how to use this fancy gadgetry. But yeah, this takes a little bit of the conscious choosing of the yes or no out of the deck. So put them face down. Okay, so that would be kind of the production notes for the deck. As far as reading with it is concerned, because of the voice, because of the author, because of the artist's voice, like I said, I'm having a kind of a hard time connecting to it. I would be interested to hear about how others are doing as far as connecting with it and working with it or going. I would highly recommend journaling for this deck. It should be an option. I could use a moderator. Yeah, I don't go on enough to really appoint somebody a moderator. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody that's going to be with me consistently enough to be like, yeah, here, moderate that. And then, I don't know. I wish that I had more consistent online time. And, but it is what it is, I guess. So anywho, there is that. What did I do with my other? There it is. Okay. So that is just a couple of the production notes I wanted to make about the deck. I hope I was a little more even voiced. I hope I was a little more, I hope I was a little less personal about it. But anyway, yeah, Brenda, I know you should be on more. But anywho, the one thing that I wanted to touch on too was his notes in the Empress. Oh, so there's two more things I wanted to touch on. And I made some notes on the Empress and I left the notes at work because that's where I did all my little bookmarking. And then I had a separate sticky for notes. Yeah, so in this deck, he talks about how, okay, so who wants to be my moderator? No. No, I need to hide him. Hide this user. And then Veronica Jew. Oh, God, I keep on doing it. Here, Veronica, you be in charge. You're a moderator. Just for, you don't have to do it all the time, but just for today would be appreciated. I'm super glad that he has, I put him in timeout too. Hopefully that works. So anyway, he talks about how, thank you very much, Veronica. You are the best. Whack-a-mole is such a good game. So after much self-debate, while creating this deck, she became the alchemical mother. No magic separation. So he talks about, I forget where exactly in the book it was, but at some point he talks about how he'll never, like he doesn't know what it's like to have a life grow inside of him, but he kind of does because he created and birthed this deck into the world. No, that is, I learned a long time ago. I learned a long time ago. That is not something that you say ever. So for those that don't know, I am child free by choice. And I get that he is trying to connect with his inner feminine power, and he's trying to connect with women and whatnot. And he's trying to be like, I understand and know what you're going through because I went through this process. It is not appreciated. That would have been better to have been edited out. Just talking about how he's been, you know, just talking just about how he brought the deck into the world, and as a power of creation, she was a nice avatar for it. That would have been better or nicer, or yeah. So I've been, you know, trying to pay more attention to the stuff that he has written in the guidebook, and that just kind of jumped out at me. I was like, oh no, like no, like I want to call him up and be like, Goliath, no, I've done that, don't do that, because I'm like, I'm not a mother, but I have dogs, so it's basically the same. And it's like, no, that's not what you do. That is not what you do. You can't do it. Moms get mad at you. The other thing that I think was misinterpreted in my last review that I do want to touch on really quickly. And then you know what, I am going to go. I said on the cards, and I said there were Italian titles on the cards, and by that I was mistaken. I thought there were Italian titles on the cards because in the guidebook, for the Fool, where are we, Fool? He says Lamat, which I've seen used as a title for the Fool. It's for Italian titles. I think there's one of my Il Meneghello decks, instead of Matos, is Mat. And then he has Le Batelier, like for the Magician. So he does have some Italian titles in the book. So I just naturally thought that this L at the bottom would carry that forward. But then at some point he drops that. So the Emperor, the Pope. Yeah, at some point he at some point that gets dropped, but I forget which card it was on. Yeah, he just drops it. Yeah, women who can't conceive would be even angrier. So yeah, that's so there are Italian titles, they just weren't on the cards, and for some reason I thought that this, for whatever reason, I don't know, I just, not enough coffee, I guess, is not really an excuse, but I just assumed that this was the same thing. This is just the L page of swords. He kind of, yeah, I don't know, crazy. And then the other thing that I said that people would get offended by the Arabic script. And what I meant was, bye, Nat. Have a good one. I'm sorry that we have to deal with so many trolls out there today. It's crazy. It's raining trolls. Hallelujah. Like my white girl dancing. But anyway, this is an Arabic script at the bottom, but it's English characters. And when I said that people would get offended, what I meant was, in my opinion, it is highly appropriative to take an Arabic styled font that is so hard to read that it looks like it would be written in Arabic, and have it actually be English characters. It just, that feels appropriative to me. Had this been in Kurdish or in South, was it Kurdish or Persian or Punjab, you know, it would have been fine had that actually been in that language. I think that would have been really awesome. It would have been inclusive. It would have been reaching out across cultures, making this deck awesome, like easily accessed across the world. And then instead that's English, and it just, to me, it feels appropriative. That's all. I just think that, you know, if you're going to use that script, just do it in a language that is traditionally written in Arabic script. That's all. I wasn't trying to be like, white people are going to get offended by that. I don't know what the point of it is. I have no idea why he did that. Because here's the thing. He's got 3 titles on each of the card. I think had he either done his L titles or the Italian titles on the cards, had he done just an English title on the card, that would have been fine. Had he done, he writes these really cool, so this is a really awesome part of the deck that I will touch on when I do a part 2, when we actually get into some of the meat of the cards, because I feel like that we need to do that with this deck. This card has some meat to it. We need to get into it. Today's review, I think, is just production notes. So this is the Page of Swords, and his alternative title is the Sword-Bearing Sister. Had he stuck with just something like that on there, would have been fantastic, and then gotten rid of you don't need 3 titles on a card with additional titles in the book. That's too many titles. It's a lot. It's a lot to process. And then there are a bunch of keywords in the book that are a little synonymy, but you probably could have, it doesn't hurt my brain. It doesn't hurt my brain, Brenda. It hurts my eyes to read, because here, let me put it up close. It's not that says, let me see if I can get it to focus. The Page of Swords. And I didn't even notice that. Probably wouldn't have even been brought to my attention. Oh, thank you very much. Veronica, you are amazing. Probably wouldn't have even been brought to my attention had, I'm going to have to take down the live chat when I post this video. Tiger's Abyss brought this to my attention, actually, and he cited it as one of the reasons he decided not to buy the deck. So I thought it should be brought to, like, it should just kind of be put out there. He did it. He said something on one of Simon's live chats, because Simon was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to get this deck," and Tiger's Abyss was like, "Nope, changed my mind." And that was one of the reasons. So it's out there. It's just my opinion. Again, I just think it would have been better served if you're gonna, like, I know. Oh my goodness. Don't feed the troll, Brenda. It's crazy. He's crazy. It's fine. We're all a little crazy here. So that is just simply what I meant by that. So if people want to take it how they take it, that's fine. I meant it in a truly harmless and constructive way. Anywho, that is So those are my notes on Goliath. It is 10 o'clock. I've got to go and open the shop. I was hoping to be able to jump into some of the major arcana. So this is definitely a part one, everybody. I'm hoping that this was a little more even keeled with a little more of a less jokey, less sarcastic voice put in. I'm hoping that just my production notes on the deck. I mean, the only reason I'm kind of diving into it either is because if you're in the States, it's $80. If you're in the UK, it's about £100. So there's some issues that need to be known about before you spend your money. So anywho, that is just trying to look out for you guys. Yeah, just trying to look. Yeah, it was 60 some odd dollars with another 20 some odd in shipping, Brenda. So anywho, that is just my production notes on the deck. We will get into the artwork and the symbolism and all that good stuff. Probably try to get on tomorrow. Maybe I'll even do one tonight. So anyway, yeah, the box is beautiful. My original video, I spent 6 minutes praising the box. I don't know. I guess maybe I was being a little too sarcastically caffeinated, but anyway, it's a great tarot. If you have it, please don't let my notes stop you from enjoying it. I'm definitely not going to not enjoy it. I'm actually going to start writing a little bit of a journal for it to help me form a better connection with it. Because reading with it has just been, so far, the biggest spread I've been able to manage is a 3-card spread. And it's just like with my space, like you put the 3 cards in a row and it's like a huge tableau, and it starts to get a little disparate with the style. But anywho, all right, you guys, I'm going to run. Maybe Beaker will join us as we talk about some of the cards and some of the meanings and whatnot. I would also love to, oh my God, you have to go out for Babies Need to Play in the Cold. Oh no! Bye, Crystal Mama. You should post a picture somewhere of your painting that you did the other day. I really need to see it. So, oh, and Grun, I will tell Beaker that you said hello. Also, he says to tell you hi, because that's how he says hi now. It's really adorable. It's so cute. I love that bird so much. But anyway, I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Let me figure out how to end this stream. And Veronica, thank you very, 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 very much. It's very appreciated. All right, bye.